As we come to the end of 2020, which has truly been a roller coaster year like none we have ever known, many of us are asking the question, what lessons did we learn this year, and how can we carry this experience and learning forward in 2021 and beyond? So I'm pleased to share with you a short clip of a question answer session where I addressed this very issue with a few key pertinent points for you to think about.
As we come to the end of this year, how would you suggest we prepare for the future and all its unknowns?
That's a great question. I mean, as we come to the end of the year, how do we prepare for the future? And this is a great time during the holidays to actually sit and reflect. And I know that I personally spend quite a bit of time at the end of each year looking at everything that happened. So let's take 2020, for example. We've all been through a year like none ever before. We have seen predictions of all the pundits go right out of the window. We have seen our way of life redefined, the power of nature restored, showing us humanity that actually nature is just a very humble, nourishing force that we have misjudged. We have also seen hardships that are incredibly intense, more hardship than people may have faced in the past because of the virus, because of unemployment, because of economic upheavals. People who've had jobs for so many years have seen their companies vaporize through no fault of theirs. So this year has been like one of complete shuffling of the deck. So what does that tell me? First thing it tells me is that we as humanity were shown a lesson in humility. We were given a real lesson in humility. Now, our scriptures, our spiritual leaders, guides, teachers, all talk about humility, but it doesn't hit you here, neither here. We hear about it and we go, yes, we must be humble, ABC, and then the next day we are doing things that would be deemed arrogant by so many. So this was a practical lesson in humility. So would I take that lesson forward in the future? Absolutely. Because I feel that a more humble humanity. We also learned lessons in compassion, huge lessons in compassion. And I think that I've also seen not just compassion towards humans, but humans towards animals. For example, I remember watching footage from the Amazon fires, where these guys were actually holding jaguars and walking the jaguars through the water, rescuing them from the fires. Human being and animal, protecting, caring for each other. We've learned a lot of lessons in compassion when we've seen our fellow beings go through, amazing difficulties. So this year has also taught us lessons of compassion. It has taught us respect for resources. When suddenly your resources dry up before your eyes, not due to any fault of yours, you realize how fast that wheel of resources, that river of abundance can dry up. And as a result, we must be thinking about conserving resources. We were taught about conserving resources this year. So when we go forward, what resources are we talking about conserving? Number one, at a personal level, save. So many wise people in the world keep imploring us, save, save, save. And we live in a lifestyle of consumption and material plenty where we spend, spend. We run credit card bills and we run debt at 20 and 25% without having the income to support it because we have to show how well we're doing. Guess what? In COVID, nobody cared. Even if you didn't have a haircut, nobody would know. And if you wanted a haircut, you couldn't have one. So this whole, go into your closet and look at all your fantastic shoes, and we're all guilty of it. I'm not pointing at anybody, Look at all these amazing clothes. Well, you never got to wear them. How important are they then? So, think of how much of nature's resources we waste. You've got 2 feet. So maybe, two pairs of shoes, 3 pairs of shoes, 40, 30, 20. But this became the norm. And so when we save for ourselves, we are saving resources of nature. When we waste, we are taking what nature has prepared for us over thousands and hundreds of thousands of years, and we are wasting it. Then we are putting pollution back in the environment. So this year has taught us, given us a lesson in humility and a big lesson in resource conservation, a big lesson in compassion. What other windows did this year open? I think it opened some huge spiritual windows. And for many who were not so active on the path, you found yourself sitting at home, stuck in lockdowns, in challenging times. And usually, when times get really tough, is when we as humanity look at a level above us and seek and pray for help. And this year, more prayers have been offered than I can think of in any of the previous years. So there was a spiritual awakening. Then people had time. So how do you use this time? You can't sit and watch TV all day, that makes you brain dead. So people started to read. People started to listen to webinars like what we are doing. I mean, we started these webinars on the master classes because number of members of our shift group said, can we start this and share? Because a lot of people who are stuck in their homes, etc., can we share knowledge with them that will inspire them to rise in their spiritual journey? And so we started, and we were just so pleasantly surprised and gifted that such a nice group of all of you came together. And we were able to together learn and share. But we are one. Think of this globally. There's been a huge spiritual awakening. What does spiritual awakening bring? It brings deep inner wisdom. So if you look at the future and approach the future now with an understanding that actually spirituality and material well-being are not in conflict with each other, but actually spirituality provides us with a foundation for good, healthy material well-being for ourselves and for others. And remember, it's "and for others" part that we have all over time forgotten, because we became very insular. I, me, self-center, unable to see outside of the self. Suddenly that's shattered, and that's opened us to realize that actually, wait a minute, I opened this window and there's a sun shining out there, and I'm not going to give that sun up. So that spiritual awakening was also come to us as a gift. So like that, I'm sure you can sit down and list so many things in your own experience as to what the year taught us. Look at how many people we know who have passed on this year. I think that in no other year in my life have so many people I know passed on, whether it be from cancer or from COVID, but there's been a real, we've come face to face with the reality of mortality. What does that teach us? I mean, this year, I mean, if I think of it of a revolutionary change, then this year has been one of that revolutionary change. When you see mortality become such a reality, maybe you stop taking tomorrow for granted. Because someone who had plans for this evening didn't wake up this morning. Someone who had plans for tomorrow didn't go to bed this evening because they were no longer alive. All the plans we make, we seem to assume tomorrow is there. We take it for guaranteed. Suddenly, we in our personal lives have come face to face with realizing that no, there is no guarantee. Every morning when I wake up, the first thing I do is I express deepest gratitude for the fact that I was given another day to live, another day to experience, another day to contribute. Now, with that spiritual awakening, this understanding flows into it beautifully. So much has been learned, and I've thrown a few things, a few lessons that I've derived, and I'm sure I could keep talking about it all night. But I'd like you to take, stock of your own experiences and say, what do I know now? Or what do I understand now? Or what do I feel now that I didn't feel before? And you'll realize that the universe has opened us all up in a beautiful and healthy way. Yes, with every such situation comes tremendous hardship. But I think that if we emerge from this as a wiser, better, more compassionate, caring humanity, respecting resources of nature, respecting the environment, then tomorrow, in the future, there will be fewer and fewer and fewer people suffering like the way they have done in years before. A lot of suffering that we see in our world today, take COVID aside, go back to 2018, has been a result of the way we as a humanity think, live, and interact with nature. You change that, you make everything better for the world of the future. So I look at 2021 with a great amount of hope. And I feel that we're going to see a new humanity. Some of us will forget these lessons because we just do, but many of us will not. And for those of us that don't, we should make it our duty to keep reminding and reflecting and talking about these lessons. I hope this clip provided you with some food for thought to reflect upon during your holidays. And on behalf of our team, I'd like to wish you and your families a very happy new year, happy holidays, and a truly blessed 2021 filled with peace, prosperity, abundance, light, and good health. Stay happy, stay blessed, and keep smiling always.